Okay, so this is the third screencast. In the preceding one, we created our front web folio page. If that's still saved, we close that. You can see now on our assets manager or assets store, we've got our web folio. That's the little web folio logo, Dr. David Holmes, and if I wanted to view or edit that, I could click these buttons. If I didn't like it, I could delete it and do some other things. So if I click view, then that opens that window we had open up once again. So view opens it up with the little eye selected, and edit opens it up with the little pen selected, but either way it doesn't really matter. Gear banner is the image we uploaded, and over here in Resource Center we have our gear banner theme or background, for our website in the resources there. So what we're going to do, if we go over to our PDF, we've done that. Now what we're going to do in this screencast, we're going to do a personal information page, which is the first thing that comes up in the web folio, and we're going to do our CV, which is the second little menu item that we're going to create. So let's get into that. So the first thing that we're going to do, if we look at the PDF, you can see that this is a folio page, and I've told you that we're going to create a folio page. So one thing we could do, we could either go to our, what is that one? That one is a web folio, and we can go edit. And then on our options here, we could create a new page or use an existing page or asset. So if I wanted to just click new page, I could create a new page, or if I want to do it separately, create the page and then go and choose an existing asset, I can. It's exactly the same thing. We're just going to create the page separately, but it's neither here nor there really. So let's go here on Design New and click Folio Page. Alright, so this is our options, and we can create as many of these little sections as we want. We can create a text area with the image to the left, text area with the image to the right, or just an image, and you can lay these out however you want. It also has a title and a little description for the top of the page. So the title is what's going to show in the menu, and then it's going to show at the top when you open that page. So if we go back to our little ePortfolio content folder, okay, so in this folder you see that around, let's look at our structure, personal information, CV and technical competence, I have CV, personal information, technical competence. So I have a folder with the content for each of those things. So we're going to do personal information first. Let's have a look at that. The information I got in there is a profile picture of me. Obviously you don't want a profile picture of me on your page, so you'll need to take one or find a decent picture of you that isn't you in a pub. Something professional, get a friend or relative or something to get a decent camera, or at least a decent camera phone. You dress nice on a plain background and take a photo. Feel free to do it in the workshop if you like, but you will need a photo for your page. And also I've got this Word file here with some personal information, which is again my personal information, just some stuff on my research and specialty that I'm going to put into my page. Once again, something on you, a paragraph on you, what you care about, what discipline of engineering you're doing, what you hope to achieve, the sorts of things, the little bio type thing that you might have at the top of your resume, or that you might kind of use in a cover letter or something like that. So you need to write a little paragraph about yourself to put in this personal information part of the web folio. So I've got some content here that we can use just while we're clicking through, but you'll obviously need to replace that with your own. Alright, so on our new folio page, we are going to call it what we've got in our PDF. So we're going to call it personal information, like so. And description, I don't think I've put a description in, so you can probably say something like something like mission statement or something along those lines. Completely up to you. All right. Mission statement for Dr. David Holmes. That'll do. And now what we're going to do is pop some text and an image. So let's choose the text area with a right aligned photo, like so. And on the left there, I'm going to put the text, so my little mission statement or my research interests or something like that. Copy. Control V, obviously, it doesn't like it. And obviously, if you've got, lines in Word, you'll need to put a page return in there, because it doesn't seem to like the page spacing, the formatting. Oops. I might actually change this to research focus for me, but just choose something that makes sense. Alright, now we're going to put a little profile picture of ourselves right here. So hopefully you've got a photo, or you can use my photo for a second until you get your own and replace it. But we choose media file, and what this will do is take us back to the asset store where we can choose whatever image that we've uploaded. Now we obviously haven't uploaded our image yet. We can do that once we click this. So click that, and once again we have the option to upload, which is what we're going to do. And I'm going to browse to that. So that was in our personal information profile, and let's just call that profile picture, and I'm going to give it a description. And obviously I'm entitled to upload it. There we go, save and upload. Very good. Alright, now if I wanted to change that under the profile picture, I can actually go back and re-upload, or in the asset store I can manage that and change the file association. So we can do that in a second. So if you've used my image, you can go and actually change this, and you won't have to embed it into any of the other pages. It'll just all update automatically. So let's close that. We've got our profile picture. I'm going to confirm that that's the one I want, and there's me. And we can drag that and make it as big or as small as we like, and the text will align with it. So now this is our personal information page. That's sufficient personal information and a picture. We can put a caption for that image, which is basically in a website. If the image doesn't load, it'll give you a little caption. So I'm not going to bother about that. And also, when clicking on the image, I would like to open the image in a new tab, link to a website or link to the asset. It's really neither here nor there. It's a bit annoying that PebblePad actually makes you have a clickable, every image is clickable. So this will just open the image in a new tab, which is not ideal in terms of usability, but it's fine. All right, let's close that, and then we go save this asset. Okay, and that's successfully saved. And now if I wanted to see what that'll look like, I can hit the preview there, or I can make that full page, and you can see that there's me, there's a description, personal information, research focus for Dr. Dave Holmes, blah, blah, blah. So that'll obviously be you and your interests or mission statement or whatever you want as basically the splash page of the website. And so we make that the splash page by putting it at the top. And so that's all saved. We can close that. So let's go back into our web folio. So once I've clicked on it, I can go down here and hit edit. That'll open it up, and I go existing page or asset. My personal information is what I'm going to use, confirm. And you'll see that the first menu item is personal information. That's the first one here is the one that comes up by default, and there's my information. Alright, and so I can add more menu items as necessary. So I can either create a new page the same way as I could originally. I can use an existing page. I can actually now add collections, I can add blogs, and so forth. So basically any type of asset I can add here, and I'll get a menu item, and once you click on them, then it works. But let's save that. Saved, and then view, and view full screen. And so this is now what my web portfolio or e-portfolio is like. Once someone hits the URL that I create at the end, this is what they get. I have one menu item. Obviously, as we create more, they'll be down here, and this is the front page, personal information. So research focus, blah blah blah, or whatever your mission statement or interests, or that kind of stuff. What sort of jobs you're interested in getting, or fields you're interested in working in, that kind of thing. Okay, So that's our page. Let's close that. Now what we need to do is create a CV. Once again, if I was editing, I could create something here. I don't think I can create CV straight out of that, but that's okay because that's not how we're doing it anyway. We're going to come over here and create a CV this way, and that's going to be an extra little collection. Now, once we create a CV, we have to create a whole number of things inside that CV, so personal information and so forth, and we're going to do that now. So if you click on CV, it'll come up here, and what we can do is add all sorts of things. So the first thing it says is personal information such as gender, blah, 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 is not. So what we do is create a calling card, and that's kind of you, your profile image, your address, your phone numbers, everything like that. That's the information that we put at the top of a CV. Okay, so we're going to do that first, and then we will create some extra things. So each one of these we can create a belief if we wanted, select a hobby, we can have some sort of statement that says something, we can select an accolade, an affiliation, so that might be, you know, where you work, employment history, so each previous employer we create one and that shows up. If you've got a couple of referees, we can create those. Roles, if you've worked, you know, it's sort of similar to employment, but if you've had roles that aren't really employment, so like volunteer roles, etc. And then on the academic tab, we can create a language if you speak different languages, publications if you've written any, and different qualifications. So you might have your high school certificate and then your engineering degree, and you can even do an engineering degree that's part way through and maybe put part your transcript or something like that. So we can put all sorts of different elements in our CV. So in terms of title, this is the title that show up in the menu, so let's just call it curriculum vitae. And what's the first thing we're going to do? We're going to create our calling card. So let's add new names. So it should come up with your name through the JCU Learn JCU system. Now, for some reason, my name is Dave Holmes in the system, but that's not really a professional way of my name. So let's Dr. David Holmes. And we can put letters after your name if you've got letters after your name. Alright, save. And now that's how your name will show up. Now address, you can put your home address. I'll put my business address here, which is 1. What we could also do something along the lines there. So obviously you've filled out your address, save, and it shows up like this. What else do we need in our calling card? Contact details, phone, so we can add your phone number. So 4781, my office is 6729, and depending on whether you're applying internationally, you could do +610. I won't let you do plus, so yeah, just do that, 47, that's fine, or 07 potentially at the front of it. Save. Phone number, email, it should come up with your Learn JCU email, but let's just add your actual one. Right, so add your email there. Very good. If you've got a website that you'd like to show off, this is kind of it. If you want to put your socials on there, but you know, maybe Facebook isn't the best thing to have on a professional web page. Photo, we can select an image, and we've already put an image in there, so profile picture, we can just select that, and so that goes there too. And personal information, I don't think I need any additional personal info because we have that personal info page. Save. Please enter a title. No, not enter a title. Over here. So we need to give it a name, obviously, so it can save under there. So we could call it, I think, something really creative. And I'm just going to put the same thing in description as well. There we go. So hit the save icon, successfully saved, brilliant. Alright, so we can close that. You can see over on an asset store, now they've created, I've got this extra calling card, and that calling card is what's in my CV. And if I wanted to save that CV and view it, then that's currently what's showing up on my CV, which is not very much information, obviously. So now we need to go in there and add all of the other little bits of information and things that we might want. And now, all of that information should align with the information that we talked about in the lecture about what goes in a CV. So let's pull up the lecture notes and just refresh our memory on that. Okay, so if I was to pull up this, personal details, we just did that. So education, it would be good for you to have at the very least your high school certificate and probably the fact that you're studying at JCU currently. Any training or professional experience that you might have, any technical skills, you can put some things up there, interests, and a couple of references. So we're going to do that. I think in the folder, if we go back to CV, I've put a few different things that we can use. So I've put my 2 degrees, so you can actually attach evidence. So if I say I've got a Bachelor of Engineering, blah, 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 I can attach a scan of my actual degree. And if you wanted, you could also attach a scan of your transcript, because most of the time when you're applying for jobs, they want to see your academic transcript, so you can put that straight on in there. And I have, what else have I got? I've got the doctorate one, and I've also got this Word file, and that's got lots of different content. So degree, employment with some details, postdoctoral appointments, and blah blah blah. So I'm going to put all of my information in there. I'm not going to do it whilst the screencast is recording. I'll just put that in now, and then in a second come back and show you what that looks like. You can go ahead and start thinking about what elements you might like to put in there. But I suppose I'll give you an example of, let's say, a qualification. So let's do that qualification first. Let's get rid of some of these. So while we're here, we can just create, so we edit, scroll down, and then what we're going to do is create some qualifications. So professional, academic, sorry. So we want a qualification. Click. So now that creates a qualification section, and we can add a bunch of qualifications. So if you've got a high school and a university or whatever, you can create a couple of new assets and put those under the qualifications heading. So what we're going to do is, if you had created them already, you could create them over there, or you can add them. And so let's just save that, and we can go and create them by going add new CV item, academic, qualification. So that's the way that you would add it if you want to add it independently, or you can just click add new down here. It's up to you. So let's, either way, add new. So what am I going to save this record as? I'm going to go over to my Word file that I created. Let's get rid of that one. This one I'm going to call degree in mechanical engineering, and I'm going to put whatever level of qualification. So this is a bachelor degree, date awarded, when was that? It was the 3rd of April 2004. So by clicking those, I can get back to 2004 and April, and what did I say? It was the 3rd. There we go. Result was whatever I got. Not very high. Studied better than I did. Yep. Awarding body is Cook University, and you'll see if I wanted to put an element here, so you do a 4th year thesis, so that's useful for them to know what you did your 4th year thesis on. Pop that there. If you'd like to put a result, you can. I'm not going to. And you can put the date that the element was completed or whatever. And the final thing that we're going to do is this little bit here is evidence. So if I click on that, it's saving that, and then it allows me to put evidence that I actually did that. So I'm not just saying I've got a degree, and that's where I'm going to put that file. Alright, so browse for evidence. I obviously haven't saved it yet, so I'm going to upload it. I'm going to go and navigate to, in this case, my CV and degree. It's going to upload that PDF. I own it, and I'm going to say CV Qualification degree underscore doc. That'll be fine. That's just what it's called. Save and upload. Okay, so that's selected, title, blah blah blah. That's fine. And now I can click on that and confirm this is and fully evidence, because basically that's the whole game. Save. Alright, so now there's one little piece of evidence there. Save that whole thing and close. And if I go back to my CV, you can see qualifications, degree in mechanical engineering shows up there. If I save that, click view, you can see now rather than just my information, I've got my qualifications, bachelor degree, awarding body, honours, and if I was to click on that, it would come over here and allow me to download the PDF of my degree. Alright, so that's evidence that I actually completed that. So what you're going to do now is do your high school one, and you can do your degree one too if you like, and probably say under bachelor's degree, currently completing bachelor's degree or something like that, and then you'll have 2 there. So go ahead and do those, and then we'll move on to the next bit. Okay, now hopefully you put your qualifications in. Now you'll see that I've just added doctorate in engineering as well, but this one was the more recent. Alright, so I've created the assets, obviously I've got both of them over here. We want the most recent first, and it seems like I can't drag them around. So what you might need to do, because they exist, you don't need to recreate the information. What you could do is just remove the top one and select qualifications from the list. So degree, and then doctorate's at the top, degree. So the most recent is at the top, which remember is what we want for our CV. Alright, so save. Now what we're going to do is if we go back to our lecture notes, so that's our education. Maybe you could add an additional training one if you have something, but now we're going to add some professional experience, so we're going to add a job. And so if you've got any professional experience, you can add that. All of the jobs in PebblePad come under professional employment. So I would add all of your engineering ones first, and then all of your other ones, so part-time jobs and so forth, second. Most of you being first year, you won't have had an engineering one, so let's add whatever employment history you do have. Let's do now. So you click that, and then for each one you want to add, you can add new, or you can go ahead and go through CV items, professional, employment this way, and just add them straight to the asset store. Either way, it's exactly the same thing. So let's do an add new. Okay, so I've got some examples in my Word file that I had. What do I do? Let's do this academic appointment is fine. So I'm just going to call it an academic appointment and just start pasting the information in. Alright, it's an academic appointment, have a bit of a description, what was it? That's what I've done, what I'm doing now. So senior lecturer, blah, blah, blah. So you can add an end date, or you can say it's ongoing. So obviously I'm still on the job, ongoing. When did I start? 1st of June 2010. So from 2010, June 1st. So from to ongoing. The employer is James Cook Uni. And I've put an address as well, just in that employer thing, because it's useful to have an address sometimes. Activities contributing, so what do I do? Just a couple of examples of things I do, and that's what you put in that little field there. You can have a reflection on the job, so what did you learn if you want? I'm not going to bother with that. Save. Alright, and close. And so now I have my academic appointment under employment there. And so you can add as many as you like. But if we were to view, then you can see qualifications, employment history, blah, blah, blah. So we're starting to build this CV to look very much like a paper CV that you might actually have. So I'm going to go ahead and add a couple of extra ones of these. You guys go and put in your employment, and then we'll move on to the next bit. Okie dokie, so I've added some extra employment bits and pieces. So if I was to view those, you could see some different things there, and if you look at them full screen, then you've got different employment history. Alright, so just obviously most recent first, and you can see the dates over here, you know, whatever you've got. The next thing we're going to do, so if we were to pull up what goes in a CV, so that kind of anything around training, professional experience, voluntary work, or further employment experience goes under what we just did. Now let's do a technical skills section. So in my Word file, I've got here just some content to use for technical skills. You can use whatever content you like. Or say, you know, obviously SolidWorks and Excel and all of that kind of stuff is the sorts of things you want to talk about. The way that we might put that into PebblePad, I'll go back to my edit, scroll down to the bottom, might be, let's just say, statement. So a statement is basically anything you can actually say what the heading is. So if we hit statement and go add new, so statements, add new. All right. What's my personal statement called? I'm going to call it technical skills, and then the statement itself is, I'm just going to throw all of this content in here, and I better make sure that I've got a line gap between each of these so that it shows up properly. There we go. Control C, Control V. Alright, and save. Alright. Now, so if I close that, now I have my technical skills under statements, and if I view, oops, down the bottom, I have my technical skills. It calls it a pen portrait, I don't know, but once you actually get it to full screen, you'll scroll down and it doesn't have that anymore, it's just technical skills like so. Okay, now the last thing that we want to do is we want to add a referee. So we can go ahead and where's that? Select a referee under professional. So referee, and we're going to add a new one. So in your resume you should have whatever referees you've got. I'm going to use one of mine, but obviously use one of yours in this. So I've just pulled up my resume. Where's that? My CV. There we go, I'm just going to use one of them. I'll use that one. And so save record as would be the name by the looks of it. Referee's job title, whatever that is. That. Known since. So whenever you've known them since. I think that was somewhere in 2007 something. Let's say that. And their address, you need their address. Good enough. Referee's contact details, so that's phone number, email, etc. There we go. Let's see if that works. Save. Good. What's it going to show up like? Like that. Perfect. And now in the bottom of mine, I've got a referee. And so if I do view, and then view full page, scroll down, and now I've got my referee there. Okay, so you can see that it takes a bit of clicking and creation of a few resources, but you can effectively create your entire CV inside your online resource. Okay, so I've got that, I've saved it, I closed it, and you can see now that in our asset store we've got all of these different elements of our CV there and our actual CV part there. We still haven't put it in our web folder, so let's go ahead and edit the main web folio. See, remember we only have our personal information there, so now we can add an existing asset, click, and go and navigate through our assets till we get to the CV, confirm, and now I've got my CV on my second menu item, and I'm going to go save, and if I view that and view full screen, comes up as personal information, and then the second menu item, CV, and you see all of my CV details are there, including if they want to click on doctorate and they can open the file, or degree and they can open the file and actually prove what's done or what I've done. Now, as I said, with your degree, as you move through, probably more useful in that evidence is to have your transcript, your up-to-date transcript that you can get from the office. You can get a copy of your transcript from the office, and that way they can click on that and see what grades and what subjects you've completed and so forth. Cool. All right, so that's personal information and CV, which is everything for this screencast.